We're going to get started for the day. So welcome. Brenda and I are gonna be working with you today, and we're gonna do some discussion on culture. So culture is a really big topic. Sure, it's not the first time you've heard it. Sure, you're not unfamiliar with it, but it is extremely important. And Brenda and I talk a lot, right, Bren? That we
Yes.
you know, we struggle with we've been in this company a long time. So when we do that, we have things that we understand and how some of the company was built, but some of you are new to the company and some of you are newer managers that came in from outside. So maybe you don't really have that understanding. And also we've gone through, the pandemic, and it changed things quite a bit. So I think it's time for us to kind of keep getting our systems, our procedures, and what we're all about back into effect. And so that's kind of why we want to be here and talk to you today, is just to kind of go over that and ask you guys. I'm going to probably call on you so you can mute and unmute your mic. And we'll give you a couple minutes because I know what that's like. So culture in itself is about who we are and how we're viewed by the employees and the company and the community. I always like to do a little quote so that, we have the definition of what it actually is, but I think that we know what it is. What I like most is this quote that I found from LinkedIn, which is something. Who's going to read it for me? Gail, can you read it?
Looks like part of the screen's cut off at the bottom. Says, there I go. It worked. Whatever somebody did. It says company. No, it went away again. Company culture is like the personality of a company. It's how people feel and act when they're working there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a whole better version of what culture is. It is a personality. It is what everybody takes on and how they work and intertwine together. So that's why I like that part better than the actual definition of it. This is just a little bit of a exercise, and go through this and look at how this goes down and the arrows, where you're at. Where it says C-suite, that'd just be your management team. Excuse me. And see where you're going. Take a couple minutes, is your work environment social and fun? Do you have a lot of turnover or do you have small turnover? Because that basically does have to do with your culture within your building. And sometimes company-wise, we have a culture, and sometimes in the buildings, we have a little different culture. Sometimes it's by area, sometimes it's just the employees, how you do business, some of the management team. Those can all be factors that have to deal with your culture. Are they mentors? Would you call coworkers friends? I always say we are a family. That's kind of what our culture is at Hosses and Marzonis. We do work under pressure. We do take care of a lot of problems and things. So what do you think? I'm sorry, I keep trying to fix my screen and I'm going the wrong way. Sorry. So Madison, what do you think? Where do you think you might be in your store with this?
I think we're at control culture.
Really?
I
Okay.
think that's where we ended.
Okay, that's interesting. It's actually very interesting. Okay. Gail, tell me what you think, what type of culture?
I think we're more collaborative because we all the managers work with the crew in the same way, and we're all really a good team here.
Okay, good. How about Emily?
I would probably say market culture because our main focus right now is like marketing the business and just like bringing customers in.
Okay, how about Bridget?
I think creative because we have a pretty big age group. Like we have a lot of older people, but we also have a lot of younger. And I think that because of that, we just have a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different ideas. And we also just get along really well, which is really nice. So yeah, I definitely think creative for us.
Good. How about Leanna?
Sorry, I had to figure out how to unmute. I'd
Just
say
check.
I'd say collaborative because we're really tight working together over here. We lead on each other. We work together really well.
Good. And I always give you a little extra minute when I call on you because I know it's hard to get in and out of that mic.
I'm not used to Zoom.
That's okay. We get used to it the more we work with it. So did we get anybody else on here? Abby's here. How about Abby?
I would have thought I would have ended up in collaborative culture, but I ended up in control culture.
Okay. So that was kind of interesting to you to see the difference
Yes.
as you went through quickly. And I know that I have you going through it quickly, but I just like you to see some of those levels and how they change. So, you know, when we're looking at this, I would kind of hope that we would be in the creative or collaborative only because of our industry. We're in hospitality. It's kind of what we do, but these things can change. And that's what we're going to be talking a little more about. It could be your management team. It could be changes within your location that you're facing and so it's a little bit different culture than you thought. So we're going to talk about some more things and people and things that we have going on here. And hopefully we'll figure out some ways to maybe improve our cultures. So when it comes to culture, which factor do you think is most important? I want you all to answer actually, so I'll just call on you again if that's okay. Leanna, you know how to work that mic now. How about you go first?
Which factor do you think is the most important?
I'm sorry, which?
I'm sorry, I was just reading it out loud.
Oh, okay.
To employees or to management?
To the culture.
Oh, the culture. Okay. I don't like going first.
It's okay.
Let's go with clear values because if we're all on the same page, I think it's going to work together better.
Okay. You do know there's no wrong answers to this.
I do.
So, I mean, I don't want anybody to be feeling pressured. Okay. So, Bridget, how about you? Which one stands out to you that you think is most important to culture?
I mean, I think they're all equally important, but personally, I think work-life balance is the biggest one.
Okay. I know why. All right. Thank you. Abby, how about you?
Like Bridget said, I think that they're all equally as important. However, for me personally, I think recognition and appreciation are the most important. I think that's a good way to slow down employee turnover and just be more personable with all of your employees.
Great. And you're right. I believe they all play their part in culture. But Madison, what do you think?
I was probably gonna go with the recognition and appreciation as well because I know I do very well when I get praise. So I'm assuming other people also get that with like giving them more effort to want to put in more effort to things.
Yeah, I like recognition too. I mean, we all like to know we're doing a good job, be appreciated. Emily, I'm sorry I missed over you. What is your pick?
You're okay. I'd say clear vision and core values because basically that's what we're all coming together is we need to come collaboratively and like have the same vision and work towards the same goal.
Great. That's why I like hearing all of your opinions. Gail, how about you? What'd you pick?
I picked recognition and appreciation. I think that it leads your team. When they're recognized for what they do and told what they need to do, it helps build their character and that helps get your culture going where it needs to go.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna keep these in mind as we move along here. So this is just a little handout that shows 7 ways to build company culture. So if you are struggling in your store, you know, I think flexibility is one we're very good at as a company, because I think that we are flexible to employees' needs when we can be. They have to understand we have to run a company and we have to have employees available to work, but we do try to be flexible. I know when we have high school students, they're involved in activities, we try to kind of do that schedule around them, or possibly, you know, childcare. We try to do some of that as well. So I do think that that's something as a company that we do well. And and the other thing that comes along with this that I think is a good selling point maybe when we have new employees coming in is our hours. We don't work, you know, we're not open till late at night, so you can have some of that home work balance also, and they could be looked at as a couple different things. That could be looked at as a reward, it could be looked at flexibility or even wellness. But also the holidays are very important that we close down, because that aspect of family is huge. So that's another thing that plays a part in it. Feedback is always important. What do we say? The little things go a long way. So along with rewards, just that little thank you, or, you know, most of you, well, I guess maybe half came out with the recognition part of that and appreciation. You know, just saying, hey, thank you for everything today. That really goes a long way with employees. Training, okay, that's my thing. So we have to make sure that we are training our employees the right way, giving them the information that they need and the resources that they need to do their job. They probably, some of them are not comfortable telling you. So asking those questions and going through the training aspect and the feedback of it is going to help you get some better training to them. Communication is like a #1 need, I think, all the time. We can always get better at communication. Trickling that down, making sure the right information, you know, everybody's probably been through the activity where you start the story on one end and then get to the other end and repeat it, and it's kind of completely different story, because everybody just kind of has their own thought process, and are they actively listening or not, and what details did they get? So, you know, the more we communicate, the better and more clearly we communicate, the better the entire team is going to be. So rewards, we said it's nice. I just think to make sure that when we're rewarding, that we know about our people and we know what's important to them and what means something. Those rewards are different between all different employees. Perks, everybody likes some perks. There's a couple listed on here that we can't do. I don't think you can bring your dog to work. We can't here either. You know, it's no fun, but you know, but there are things that I know stores do. We're always been kind of good at bringing in baked goods or having a birthday celebration, or I know managers bring in coffees or food or donuts, things like that. And that's really appreciated with the staff. Wellness is another part of culture. And right now we are in probably the biggest need of some mental health, education, awareness, just making sure that, you know, we're looking at what employees are going through. Everybody's going through all these different things in their home life, work life, all different things are going on. And I think that we're probably in a lot of more fragile mental state in a lot of ways, all of us doing more with less. So we want to be aware of our employees, what we're asking, how we know how we handle situations, and if anybody needs help, we have resources available. So let's talk about some positive aspects of your store culture. Gail, I'm going to go back to you because you said, oh, our store, our management team, our employees, we're all getting along really well. What are some of the things that you do?
We communicate between each other a lot. All of our managers, we talk daily. We have a log that we share what happened on each shift every day. So that we're all on the same page. We don't get like one employee playing another employee against the managers. We just all have pretty much the same goals. And when we do have something come up that we need to talk to, like I had to talk to one of the servers the other day about how she came across to a greeter in front of customers. We all would handle it the same way. We brought her in the office, talked to her with a witness, got her ideas, and then shared it with the whole team. So it's still communication.
Mhm. Yeah, really big. I love the fact that you are taking the time to speak to each other as you're coming and going. I know that that doesn't always happen in our buildings, just due to the number of managers we have, what types of shifts that you're running. But I think that that's an important part. Someone just asked me about the communication log. And I said, now with teamwork and so forth, you do have a log that you can keep that's right there as well. But it's very, I always think it's very important. I've always talked to new managers or managers about this. You know, if you're not letting the next manager know what happened on your shift or what they're coming into, you're not setting them up for success. So
Yeah,
that is just a way to, you know, if a piece of equipment is down and you turn around and they don't know about it, that really puts them back in what they're doing. So that's great. The communication aspect is wonderful. Madison, what do you think? What's Huntington doing?
We are really good with the recognition and appraisal part. We are always bringing in baked goods. I think we normally do it at least twice a month, normally on Sundays, because that's when majority of our crew is here. Us managers are really good at communicating. We also do comm logs at the end of every shift. And we're always communicating with each other. Normally, we're texting even when we're not here to make sure everything's running smoothly. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing. I don't know about all the time. You got to have a break too. So you got to break from work. But it's nice that you have that loyalty and you care, you know, that you're keeping in touch and making sure that things are going well. Okay, Emily, what do you think? You're doing great in Greensburg.
Recently, like we've been posting like the server average checks and like coming up with like little contests in different areas of the restaurant to like upsell and like make it more fun and positive for the employees, so it's not just like the same old repetitive thing every day. So
Good. Brian, I know you're out there. I kind of put my video off to the side so I could see what's going on here. So please just come in when you want to. Abby?
I think that our store, I don't know about every store, but I think our store is in a good position to where the majority of our employees have worked there 10 plus years, some of them, most of them 30 years. So as much as we all say that it is a family, ours really feels like that. So it's a lot easier for everyone to get along. And I know sometimes that environment fosters not a good environment for new employees coming in, but I believe that we do really well, especially our CDTs are very open and friendly. And, you know, the recognition and appraising them also works for us because, like I said, the employee turnover rate isn't as high. So having that family feel, I think, works for us really well.
Yeah, that welcoming aspect is very important on new hires. Okay, Bridget?
I think one of the things, I think there's two things that we do pretty well, one of them being flexibility. And just understanding that, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, Marzoni's is not the main focus of people's lives, it's just one aspect to it. And we are just, you know, really understanding and really, you know, we get people's changing schedules, you know, availability changes, something comes up, we make it work, we do what we can to make sure that people are still able to, you know, live their lives and don't spend, you know, literally live their lives at the store, unless they want to, which they're more than welcome to do that too.
Is the crew
We
flexible to
also-
that? Do they would cover and take on?
Yeah, we have a lot of servers, like a lot of servers. So, you know, typically with that, if somebody's we have a Discord, so most of the time people are just like, hey, my dog's sick or my kid's sick or I have a doctor's appointment, and somebody's always looking to pick up a shift. Same thing with back of house. We seem to it sounds kind of counterproductive, but usually the schedule that we print off in the morning is bound to change at least twice throughout the day because we are
Well.
so flexible in a weird kind of way, but it works for us. It works really well for our store.
I'm just happy you have employees to fill in and keep you going. That's the
Yeah.
big part.
Yeah.
Some don't. Leanna, what do you have going on?
I think that a positive thing we have going at our store is the recognition and appreciation of our employees. We do coffee and donuts for them multiple times a week. We'll get lunch sometimes. I know one thing that I personally like to do is when I see a positive guest survey come through in the email, if it has the name of the server on, I like to print it off and hang it where everybody can see it.
That is a great, because it is positive, so that's a great thing to do for recognition. Yeah, nice. I know Eve likes to sometimes do the coffees and things too, so that's a
Yeah.
good one. Good, thanks for sharing. So, do you think that there are any areas for improvement? Or you think you got it going?
I think there's always areas that need improvement. Like sometimes, like I'm just gonna say within our store, the communication isn't always the greatest. So sometimes, yeah,
Emily, I think that that is everywhere. I think we can
yeah,
all be better with communication. So that's something we have to be aware of, and we really have to make an effort toward, because it's easy to let it slip through the cracks when you're busy. So yeah, that's something we can all do, and that's very good. Anybody else have any area of improvement they feel can be better for your culture?
I think everybody has an area of improvement. Just some of them are not as in such a hurry. It's something you have to do right now. Some are a slow work in progress. Just the sample of having a couple employees that don't disagree with each other all the time, and you can feel the tension between them sometimes to just to work with them individually and remind them of the importance of the other person at the same, everybody can improve. It's
Right.
just like the guest check. We all would love our guest check to be $20 all the time. It's a slow work in progress. It's always something you can improve on. And if we get to 20, we're going to want 21.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think that, this is why Brenda and I like to make this. It is a very important part of this, and just us talking about it, getting some ideas for you, kind of maybe bringing it to the forefront and letting you think about some things that you can do within your store to work with your management team, to work with your employees, to just kind of, get that culture really going, because that's what's going to keep everybody happy. It's going to keep everybody coming in. It's going to keep everybody, we say about the retention, that's a big part. So, all right. So I like the positive side, but you know what? You kind of talked about it, Gail. There's always, do you have toxic people in your locations? Anybody?
We
No,
definitely
you don't have any? Oh boy. Okay, good.
we
This will go fast. Oh, I like it. All right.
We-
So we say there's a lot of different things that they define them as, but your toxic people are just not happy. There's different things going on. And it might be just something going on outside of work. Maybe it's something going on with an employee, like you said, Gail, when they're just not getting along. You're not figured out what's happening right away. I think, the blame game, the bullying, and the power part of this is the largest that we see. I think you have employees that like to just overrun other employees sometimes. So when I say the antidotes, these are the same for all of these, but we always have to remember to have respectful communication, a lot of feedback, focus on the forward, not what's going on behind. I always say when people have issues, tell them to come to you with solutions and not with just these issues and, little problems here and there all the time. Have them be a part of that solution and talk to you about it. So, and sometimes it comes down to having some discipline, but we take the steps that we can, we try to work it out, and then we unfortunately go with what we have to. So, passive aggressive, let's call the stonewalling, going around the chain of command, withdrawal avoidance. It's hard to get things out of people and get them to talk to you when they're kind of in this stage. But you got to figure it out. And a lot of these, what we were saying is toxic people, but you know, they have things going on. They normally will kind of weed themselves out. So if you give them enough time, they kind of do that. Here, I think this to me sometimes is one of the worst because if you, the sarcasm, the rudeness, eye rolling, you know, what you get there is, just an attitude of, nonchalance, like it's passed by them. They just are not even engaged in what they're doing. They're kind of to the point of no return. So, yeah, that's a tough one. Gail, you said, you know, your managers are on the same page and you discuss these things and you talk about these things. I think that's one of the best things that you can do is to make sure that your team backs each other up, is on the same team, and they're going to look at taking care of situations in the same manner. Anybody have any of these individuals on your staff?
Yes.
They
Yes.
come and go, right?
Yeah.
So what is it that they do to your staff? How do they affect you? How do they affect the staff that you have?
They get them worked out. They destroy some of the morale that the people have. People can go home with a bad day that they did started out having a good one. I believe in not procrastinating on a situation like that. That's why I had the talk with the server the other day. She goes up in front of the customers up front and says, "That's supposed to be my table, 46. Why did you give 46?" And the host, they're young kids learning their new job. Well, it used to be this way. She's been here 50 years. Okay. It used to be. I said, she has her job, you have yours. If you have an issue with that, come to me and I'll go up and find out what the problem is. But you never get the guest to see anything like that. And I brought another manager in, one of our cook managers, just to be, I said, when she comes back, I want you to be in the room. Because when you have a witness with you, they're going to hold back a lot of the sarcasm, or they're going to double check what they're actually thinking that comes out of their mouth, unless they get really upset. And then they fly off, and then you really need a witness. But we just can't. If I would have let that go, the host would have felt like we didn't care about what their opinion was. The guests,
Right. It seems like a little bullying, you know? Well, I've been
And it-
around longer and so I
Yeah.
want you to do it my way and I'm going to push you to do this. And so,
and
yeah, it's good. They're back because
everybody's against me. Everybody's trying. I said, we're a team here.
we
She's
want to
doing-
have happy people doing their
Yeah.
jobs because it reflects to the guest, right?
Yes, it does. It's exactly.
And that's what we do. We give the guest experience.
Mhm.
So this is just 8 signs of a healthy company culture, which I think are basic, but so important, you know, where they can express their opinions without feeling like there's going to be retaliation or somebody's going to get angry, having room to try new things. You know, many of our employees, they want to be challenged with new things and they want to have ideas. And so we have to listen to them. Sometimes we can't do them. Sometimes there's a reason why, but you know, we want to encourage that. So, give them a little empowerment so they can do their job. Like you said, Gail, they're learning. The greeter knows how to do their job. The server should be taking care of guests. So, you know, they have their roles and they need to make them work. When they make friends at work, because that's a good environment where they feel like Emily said, that truly she feels like a family. They've been around and they take care of each other and they do that. That's a great sign of a good culture. They have a high level of trust. They have to trust the managers and the other employees. If you don't have that, they kind of usually get very quiet and nobody really gets things done the way they need to. Celebrate each other's wins. Yeah, we want to be happy for everybody when they, you know, have a great day, do something, get that great guest comment, Leanna, that you're posting on the board and everybody says, hey, congratulations, that's awesome, you know, or you always know servers, they get that extra big tip and then you're always happy for them. Sense of team effort. we're a restaurant. The restaurant doesn't work without being a team from the front to the back. I mean, everyone has to work together and feeling comfortable enough to ask for help. They're uncomfortable, and they don't feel secure enough to ask. You may not even know what their needs are. That's why you have to initiate some of those conversations and make sure that they get what they need. So, positive people. Let's just roll through this. What are just some traits of great positive people you have on your staff?
We have this one server that she is always in a good mood. No matter how busy she gets, if she gets 3 tables back to back to back, she's always in a good mood and is always have a smiling on her face no matter what.
Yeah. Do you like to have her on your shift?
I do.
Of course, because that's what I think that we all just, gravitate toward that person because of course they're going to help you out. They're going to be, they're smiling and they're doing things. So those are the types of people that you want. So the opposite side of that is these are the people that we want, but we have to make sure that we're working with all of the staff and taking care of those issues and not procrastinating on some of them when we have, maybe the two that aren't doing the right thing. We have to kind of keep them on track and teach them so that we don't take advantage of some of those people that are great all the time. Because that smiley server, you probably ask her to maybe pick up some shifts or help you out a good bit. So we just have to be aware of that as well. Because we already went through this. What impact do the positive people have? They keep us wanting to be on our shift, right? And if you as the manager are that person, your people want to work for you and they want to be on your shift as well. It goes both ways. Okay, so let me ask. Who am I gonna ask? Who's been talking a lot? Leanna, what would you describe as an ideal culture in the restaurant?
Positive and enjoy coming to work, where they work together and don't try to antagonize each other and don't try to work against each other.
Yeah, pretty simple, isn't it? We wish we could have it every day. Somehow it doesn't work that way, but that's what we want to strive to do. It's a very simple concept, having people be happy and having them want to come to work. So positive workplace culture. These are things that we have talked about. This is just kind of wrapping up my portion, but just thinking about the things that we really do and that we need to do are focus on our guest service because we are hospitality and we're a restaurant. That's what we do. And servant leadership. Servant leadership in itself is a style based on the desire to serve and give to your community. So that's huge too, because we have to be known. We have to have that right reputation for getting employees in, for being in the community. We used to do a lot out in the community. I think we're getting back to that very slowly. So keeping in mind that this positive culture allows us to have great guest service and allows us to be good pillars of the community and actually be a service to other people. So develop your company culture, always be looking at people, tell them how they can advance with the company because they're going to want to know that, and that's going to keep them there. You guys all said about a lot of core values, so make sure that you're able to be on the same page in your building and know what they are and be able to kind of teach them and reflect them to new people coming on board. Hire for culture fit. This is something I really like. I know we, unfortunately need bodies and we need people, but start thinking about what the culture is in the building because if you hire for the culture fit, you have a higher rate of keeping those people in your building, keeping them happy. The communication again, number one, and foster a positive work environment because if it is on the positive, they're going to have fun and they're going to want to be around. So it's kind of a simple concept if we can get it, but it's sometimes hard to do. Brad, I'm going to turn over to you.
So the slide is be the change you wish to see in the world. The thing that I stress a lot with culture is what do people perceive when they come to your restaurant? What do new hires perceive when they start at your restaurant? So the next slide, Pam. So do employees feel valued, respected, informed, and know the expectations? We talk a lot about that with regard to retention and retaining employees. So when you get these new hires in, what is their first impression of the store, of their training? Does it make them want to come back? Because we find that sometimes like that's what happens is all of a sudden they don't show up. So why is it that they don't show up? How is the culture at your restaurant? How do you all work together? How do you train these new hires? Do you make them feel that they are welcomed and that they are a part of that team? And do you take that time? So, you know, when the new hires come on, you don't just want to throw them into a section and just leave them go. As a manager, as the trainers of the employees, you just want to make sure to keep them on track. You know, make sure that you let them know what's expected of them. And, you know, then they feel appreciative and give them some goals and set some expectations for them. So having a strong company culture motivates employees to do their best. So if I'm a part of a team that when I go in, I'm appreciative or I'm being appreciated, plus I'm appreciative of the people that I work for and know my expectations, that's going to want me to continue to do my best. So the culture, like, are you caring? Are you supportive? I always say kindness. Kindness goes a long way. You know, just being kind to people. We talk about these new employees coming in and they've already come into this team that's been established, but how do you make them to become part of that? Do you make them feel that they're welcomed? As Pam said, you know, we are a family. Is the restaurant that family environment that this new employee wants to be a part of? The next screen. So having a strong culture, of course, will aid in some of the fallings that we are trying to focus on as a company. I know Delaney with engagement, you know, we try to make sure that, as I talked before, is that the employees are being engaged, making to feel part of something. They are established and know what's expected of them. When you sit down with them, you go over their job description? Even employees that have been there for a while, do you check in with them? Do you see if they have everything they need? Is there anything that you can do for them? And this in turn, you know, helps decrease turnover. Now, the strong brand identity, like what do people think of when it comes to your restaurant? Do you have that strong brand? And does everybody know what that means? Like, what is our brand? Like, what are we known for as a restaurant and what should we be known for out in the community? I'll just call on Emily. What's your store known for in the community? Do people know who you are?
Yeah, like recently, or actually just yesterday, we did a party in the back and it was like I think they're a bunch of dog trainers, but they've done like where the community nights before and like they do little things to where like they come in once a month and like we host benefits for them and like we've done a basket for them, but it also like them helping us helps them basically. It helps both ways because we get our
Right.
name out there.
Yeah,
and
because they're going to say, hey, we had this party at this restaurant and they treated us great. And they
Yeah.
had that welcoming feeling. So they're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell other businesses, and you're going to have that strong brand in that community as known for being that type of restaurant that people want to go to. So
Right.
that's what, you know, what we want to do. And I believe as Pam said, you know, years ago, we used to be out in the community a lot, like a lot. And we did get away from it, and especially with COVID. But what we're stressing too is you need to get out into that community. You need to let people know what you're about and what the restaurant's about, you know, to bring, you know, new guests in or, you know, to build the business so that, you know, you have that great sales and, you know, you have a lot of guests that want to continue to come. And of course, with regard to being a part of a restaurant or team, it elevates productivity. So if I'm an employee that knows what I'm doing, or, you know, you get that feedback and you get that motivation and, you know, you build that up, you know, it's going to elevate their production and they're going to want to produce because, you know, they're working for this great restaurant that is known out in the community. And, you know, everybody wants to come and be a part of that restaurant. So that's the things that with regard to culture, we want to build and get our name back out there or continue to keep the name out there. You know, we're known for the salad bar. We're known for the steaks. Let's build this up. Let's advertise and, you know, let people know that this is what our items are that we promote and we're proud of these products. And then in turn, you know, the employees see that and, you know, it's an enjoyable work environment. The guests like to come in and they get these good salad bars and, you know, it's just, I think it's just bringing fun back into the restaurant too. And then making sure to keep the creativity and the productivity going. Next slide. So company culture, employees trust the leaders. You know, you're the leader, so you need to be the person that's leading by example. I know you can't be upbeat all the time, but you need to, you know, just focus on the positive and, you know, continue to be there for your employees and to be the person that they look up to and to build that morale and that trust with these employees. Employees have pride in the work they do. You know, if they get the like if they accomplish a great thing and they get the recognition, you know, they're going to take pride in the work. You know, when I finish a big project or something and somebody tells me, hey, good job, Brenda, that does make you feel good and you do take pride in what you do. So, you know, always make sure that you are encourage your employees and, you know, making sure that you're giving them different jobs that they can be proud of or different things that maybe they can have some responsibility for and they can take pride in the work that they do. Enjoy your work environment and coworkers. I hear a lot of people say they do bring in donuts, they have coffee, they do lunches. Here at the office, we bring fruit in every day, or not every day, but I bring in fruit Monday and it lasts all week. And we do soda and, you know, we have bagels and stuff like that. And then once in a while we do lunch. It makes the environment much easier to work in if it's an enjoyable environment. If you come into a place and you just don't feel like you're welcomed or you don't enjoy, it's not going to make you have a great day and you're not going to want to continue to come back. So, I mean, I know it's hard work, but you know, just make sure that you're enjoying what you're doing and, you know, letting your employees know that, you know, Pasas is a great place to work, Marzoni's is a great place to work, and these are the reasons why, you know, and just keep leading by that example. Next. So why would applicants choose your organization? I want everybody to answer. So we'll start with, let's do Huntington. Is your company culture known? So why would somebody come to your restaurant?
Someone would come to our restaurant because we put it out there that we are like family based with us closing earlier, and we're all like kind of a family. We all get along together for the most part. We do have our little spits and spats. But for the most part we all get along, and that's why a lot of people come to us.
You figure you're together with these people a majority of the time. So either make the best of it and make the shift go, or you can be miserable, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, I'm not always upbeat and positive either, you know, but sometimes I have to wheel it back and say, hey, listen, this is, you know, I want to appear that I am, and, you know, because your employees feed off of that. You know, it doesn't take much to make a smile and just to do some kind gestures. Leanne, I know, Eve's big on, you know, she does a lot of different things for you guys. So, you know, when you get new applicants in, what would you tell them? Why would they choose your restaurant?
Choose to apply here because they either know somebody who works here, they're related to somebody who works here. We have a lot of family groups that work here, a lot of boyfriends, girlfriends, husband, wives. My kids work here. And then another reason I hear people applying here is because of us being closed on holidays.
Yes. And that's a big thing, you know, as a restaurant company, that we close for all major holidays so that you can enjoy and spend that day with your family. And that does mean a lot. And when you're getting the new hires in or you're, you know, interviewing employees, stress that, because that is a great benefit that we offer, that, hey, we're closed for all major holidays so you can enjoy time with your family. And that means a lot to people. Abby, why would people want to come to your restaurant?
A culmination of kind of what everybody else has been saying, the major holidays and the flexibility. I think the flexibility is pretty big for us too, because there's 4 managers at our store and we're all willing to work a production shift or 2 every week. It makes it easier, even with the limited number of employees we have, to give them flexibility in their schedule and work with them and what they need. As well as the family aspect, like my little sister works there, you know, other managers have kids or sister-in-law or brother-in-law that work there as well. So a lot of our employees work there because they're related to someone who works there, which kind of works for us, you know, to get employees, people who are friends or they are related, which, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out and sometimes, you know, not always a great thing, but it does
Well,
help us a lot
yeah,
more
we
than
talk about that a lot. It can be a great thing or sometimes it cannot be a great thing, but
exactly.
you know, we do stress that we are family oriented and, you know, we do encourage, you know, word of mouth, to have your family members or people that you know to come and enjoy the working environment at Foss's and Marzoni's. And hopefully that they have an enjoyable experience and, you know, we don't have any issues with regard to that, but, you know, sometimes it does happen. But I do like that it is family. I mean, I've been with the company, it'll be 35 years and I've seen a lot. And, you know, Bill Campbell was always big into family and, you know, treating people the way you want to be treated. And that's the big thing, you know, always treat people the way you want to be treated. And that goes a long way also. All right, I don't want to keep us too long, so we'll go to the next slide. So of course, you know, some of the things that stick out for our restaurants, you know, we have the excellent atmosphere. You know, our restaurants are pretty good with the atmosphere. You know, we have clean, you know, nice looking buildings, the quality of food, you know, we make sure that the guests get quality food, guest satisfaction. We work on making sure that the guest gets the best satisfaction with their dining experience. We always want to make sure that we're the restaurant of choice. You know, there's a lot of competition out there. So what makes us stand out? You know, what is our reputation? Are we community known? Are we reputable? You know, there's a lot of restaurants coming up and, you know, you're fighting for these employees. So what's going to make you stand out that these employees are going to come and want to work for our restaurant? You know, what is it that's going to make them want to come, going to make them want to stay, and going to make them want to enjoy, and then maybe word of mouth, get more people to come in, be it guests or employees. So think about it that way. You know, we want to be that restaurant that they decide to come dine at. We want to be that restaurant that people want to come and work for. So why, you know, what are we going to do to encourage that and keep that going? We want our reputation to be, you know, the greatest reputation out there, the best restaurant. You know, when somebody wants to go out to eat, they want to, you know, select Foss's or Marzoni's. They don't want to think of anything else. So how do we keep that going and make that reputation known and keep that name out in the community? Next. So these are some of the core values. I was looking back in the handbook and, you know, I still look back a little bit, and the first couple of pages of the handbook gives our core values and our beliefs. And as I said before, caring is the golden rule. Work by the golden rule. This is Bill Campbell. Treat others, guests, and coworkers as you would like to be treated. So think about that, you know, guests, coworkers, you know, others, just treat them the way you want to be treated. Committed. Always strive to exceed our standards. Never give up. You know, I always think of COVID when we shut down. You know, we never gave up. We fought, we come back, and we're still here. And that's a big accomplishment, and everybody should be proud of that accomplishment. Consistency. You want to be consistent. I stress this a lot with a lot of the dealings that I deal with regard to employees and relations with employees. Always make sure as a manager and a leader at your restaurant that you're fair and you're firm and you're consistent with all the dealings with your guests and coworkers. You don't treat anybody any differently. Because once you start showing favoritism or, you know, there's some things, then it's going to rock that boat a little bit. So just be sure that you're always treating people fair, firm, and consistent. And then the 3 C's again is the caring, committed, and consistent. So you want to lead by those examples and practice what you preach. You know, live by what you preach. You know, the restaurant, treating people, you know, with respect, being kind. Make your restaurant be that restaurant where people want to dine and people want to work. We are working on pushing more with regard to the culture. I'm very strongly committed to culture. And it all stems back is how you want to be treated, employees wanting to feel welcomed, and, you know, just make it an enjoyable environment where people want to be and guests want to dine. So that's basically my little spiel. It was fast and quick and to the point. Just keep going. And, we want to try to keep employees, retain employees. We want to make sure they have an enjoyable work environment. Also, enjoy what you do. I mean, we're all here for a reason. So what is that reason? And just think about that. So does anybody have any questions?
I disappeared.
What disappeared, Gail?
The whole screen. I
Oh,
just said my internet's unstable, and then it disappeared.
Oh. must
right
be
now
the
it just says
connection.
open forum. Does anybody have any
Yeah.
ideas? Anybody have any questions? Any suggestions? Is there anything that your store does or sticks out that may be beneficial to the others in this class?
What I'd say, don't be afraid to share ideas. That's what part of this class is about. Just to kind of see when you get in those, ruts, or you want to have something different and fresh and new, is to be able to share the ideas between us as we're talking.
And it's easily to get into that rut because you work a lot of long hours, you're under a lot of stress, but you have to just keep trudging along and just be positive.
I think you all are. It sounds like you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you. Thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank
Okay.
you, guys.
Zoom next
Thank
time.
you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.